pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the Marion County Commission meeting for Friday, January 30th. It's first agenda, any additions? I'll make a motion that we approve it as is.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yep.
These are early.
Okay, are we ready to? All right, we have sales tax in the amount of $86,157.16. We have Western Associates in the amount of $758.51.
I'd make a motion to approve Western Associates at $758.51.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Four, one abstention.
Did you vote? Okay.
Quiet vote.
Okay, we have the total payday, which includes payroll, $1,760,908.56.
Discussion.
Just a quick, general question for Tina. I noticed we paid property taxes. Remember what kind of increase that was from past year, percentage wise?
Most of what we pay is on the solid waste fee, so that goes to us. We have a couple properties that are not exempt, and so some of them we wouldn't have had, like the one in Peabody, we wouldn't have had, or north of Peabody, we didn't have that before. I don't know I haven't looked at the tax bills, so I don't know the difference in the levy.
I'm just guessing we probably had a pretty good increase in premium, didn't we, from prior year?
You're talking about,
Insurance.
are you talking about insurance?
Yes.
Okay.
She said property tax.
Oh, did I say that?
You did, so that I was,
I was wondering, okay, what?
yeah, I was like, I didn't see that on here.
My bad. In the morning.
Yes, we did have an increase. I can bring back some,
I'm just curious what the percentage might be of increase.
I can bring back some information for you next time as far as what we've paid over the past few years.
That's fine.
Yeah, but it was a substantial increase, and we also will have an increase in our workers' compensation as well, or did have.
Other discussion? Make the motion that we approve the $1,760,900.56.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Jonah, can I use your stamp?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I have.
Further discussion?
Oh, that's not yours.
I'll take the other one.
I would have signed that one first.
Is that a motion to adjourn?
Well, you have a,
Into work session? Do we have to adjourn, go to work session?
you can do it either way. So sometimes the board has adjourned the regular meeting and then entered into a work session and then adjourned the work session. But since you're just doing planning, you know, I don't know that that's a true work session, so I would just maybe keep on rolling.
Keep on going?
But that's up to you all.
Let's stay in the regular meeting, my opinion,
Yeah.
just in case there's a decision to be made.
No. Let's do what we did in the past, so
Right.
I'm fine with doing the regular meeting.
Okay. So I don't have anything other than you had wanted on here a planning session, you know, to figure out how what you want to discuss and accomplish on the payday meetings for the rest of the year. So I'd like to just kind of be able to get something scheduled for you for February and have all the information that you need for that. So need some feedback on what.
Well, I guess I was looking at Tina's program that she gave to us a month ago. And use that as an outline. There's lots of good things. I mean, we need to have more system to keep track of equipment.
Was that your capstone?
So a couple, maybe close to budget time, like maybe March or April, have some equipment and capital planning discussions.
5-year plan or 3-year plan for equipment.
I'm just gonna start a list,
Yes.
okay?
I was wondering if there'd be any value in surveying the department heads, just to kind of see what their vision is going forward. I don't know if that would include elected officials, but I guess it could be, it could. Just so that we had it, you know, not a big, long synopsis of any kind, but, you know, kind of a vision of what they see their department evolving into and maybe efficiencies that, you know, could be generated by maybe looking outside the box a little bit. It would give the commission a little bit of an idea about each department that way. I don't know whether I'm right or wrong, I just bring it up.
Okay,
Some bullet points.
Yeah.
Mike, you have anything?
well, I know we'll need to have a road planning
Yeah.
type session, so I think that might be a good initial one for February to talk about road plan for the upcoming year so that we can get things in place.
Analyze what they
And then do a
presented.
budgetary thing in March or April.
Yeah.
Maybe in between that time, there could be some type of survey or something to the department heads.
Yeah, I've got that on my list.
Get it going anyway,
Okay.
unless you all are against it.
No, I mean, I've said since I got elected that we need to look at efficiencies within all of our departments and find ways we can do things better and save money. One other thing I've mentioned for the last several months is our policies. And I don't know if those need to be work sessions or if that's something that we need to work into regular meetings, but I think we need to evaluate our current policies that we have, that we don't have, that we need. I sent some stuff out a couple months ago about updating our purchasing policy. Actually, Harvey County has a very detailed purchasing policy that is, I think, excellent. I mean, they reference all the statutes. It's a very well done acquisition policy. And I don't know that those need to be work sessions, but they need to be something that we need to put on our agenda every month, and maybe start with a work session to evaluate what policies we have in place, what policies we don't have in place that we need, and then work diligently. I mean, we need to be working on policies more than once a month. I mean, we need to look at them and get those in place. Where you get in trouble is when you don't have policies, or you have policies that you're not following.
Yeah, way outdated.
Some
Way
of them,
outdated.
some of them 10 years old.
So I think that needs to be a focus of this commission over the next 4 to 6 months to at least. We may not get them all done in 4 to 6 months, but we need to know what we need to do, what we have, what we don't have, and prioritize those and get those established for the county.
Any comments, Jonah?
Yeah, mine fits more along the Eco Devo that I've been thinking about. Just our recruitment and incentivizing to what can we do? I mean, we have the neighborhood revitalization, but what other things are out there?
I would agree. I would agree with that. We've got opportunities. We're close enough to Wichita. I've seen in my district, I've got people that have purchased land and looking to basically retire and get out of Wichita. And what opportunities do we have to sell Marion County? There's lots of rural residential properties out there that are, I mean, I can count 15 old farmsteads in my district, and within 10 miles of my house, that are just sitting there with dilapidated buildings on them that could serve as a home site for a new family coming into, whether it's a retired family, somebody retiring, getting out of the city, or opportunities to develop those residential opportunities that are basically just falling apart right now, are actually safety hazards.
Yeah, makes you think. I mean, usually those places have been bought up for the land. And, the farmer or rancher does nothing with them unless they burn them down.
They can't do that.
They do. But would there ever be some type of incentive for those type of landowners to sell off that farms did, that unless they demolish it,
And clear it.
could be used for a family's homestead?
Mhm.
In my area, most of them just get bulldozed. buried. But yeah, there's some around, there's no doubt about it. I've got one within 2 miles of me. And it's owned by someone out of area, I guess not out of state, but you know, what type of incentive could the county come up with to say, hey, you know, 2 acres you never used, that's still got farm equipment on it, 1940.
I was fortunate enough to sell what I consider the stick of place just down the road from me that was supposed to be my son's place, and a young couple has bought that. And basically I sold it for the price of the land. But they're putting a roof on it, done lots of cleanups, and I mean, it had just fallen into complete disrepair. One of the outbuildings, you know, finally dug out some of my stuff out from under what hadn't fell down, and just scrap iron. It'd make a nice place for them, but that's far and fewer. I feel fortunate that I could even just get away from, it stays on the tax roll at a higher rate than if I just clear it to farmland. So it is happening once in a great while, but I just assumed it would, like I said, burn it down, clean it up, farm over the top of it someday, which just assumed 20-some years ago we'd have never put a bunch of money in a tin that's never been utilized till now.
On John's economic development, I'd like to see some kind of coordination between all the cities and townships in the county. They help promote small businesses to locate or expand in Marion County. Because we got all the infrastructure, we got water, we got major highways. And we got more major highways than most counties have, so transportation is good. And we're centrally located, and somebody who gets into manufacturing. But we need to work, all those towns need to work together and not against each other. And I know some of them got economic people.
Yeah, and that goes hand in hand with recruitment.
Yeah.
I mean, we could get industry to come here all day, but we can't. It's a struggle to recruit people.
And if you don't have housing,
Yeah.
you can't recruit people.
Plus, you know, since all the years I've served on that board at SCED, the dynamics of that has changed from being county commissioner kind of led to where I'm basically the last county commissioner on there, and it's almost all economic development people. And when you're surrounded by Harvey, McPherson, Reno, Sedgwick, Butler, you know, I see these big awards go out, and they basically go to all of those, to those 4 or 5 counties, and then in SCED there's probably about 12. How many counties are in SCED? 12, 15. Excuse me. But you know, they've got people working every day on that stuff, and they seem to be the ones getting it. So how do we do it?
I'm just finishing up on a conference where this whole thing is built around partnerships. It's not worrying about who's selling $200 million worth of stuff. They're trickling down things for 100,000 for somebody else. A lot of times we try to get into competition, and we shouldn't look at it that way. We should look at what partnership we can have with them and benefit together.
We're never gonna be able to compete with McPherson.
No.
Even Harvard.
But the thing is, how do we get some of those dollars that those counties are all getting? How do we get some of those here?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to have some kind of dedicated staff that's working on that stuff daily. And it's been tried in this county and not been successful. for whatever reason, don't know.
I'm not gonna elaborate on that.
Economic development, this takes a long time for it to happen, because nobody decides overnight, I'm gonna start up a business, you know.
But, you know,
The things that I've seen that have worked in Marion County, it's pretty small, but there's businesses in McPherson and Newton County or in Harvey that need a little support that their business doesn't quite do, and it provides a couple jobs and they fill that gap, and it seems to work out pretty well for us.
I think we do have a resource in the entrepreneurial program that they have at Tabor. You know, if there was some way to try to partner with them to incentivize some of these kids that are going through that program, that, you know, they don't have to leave. They might want to stay.
We also need to work with the business community, involve them, have them help recruit. And it's, I mean, it's been 30 years ago, but that's how Main Dine Fixtures started, with 2 or 3 people getting together, and 2 or 3 more. It spun off into Marion Manufacturing, and who knows what else. And that was all the banking and the business people getting together. Skid wasn't involved in that, but that Skid does things like that.
But, you know, you have
They say
to,
you compete against the big boys though too.
yeah, you gotta have a active group that's working almost full time to try to get some of that accomplished. You know, and in prior years, I don't know how many communities had chambers. I don't know if Marion even has one anymore.
No,
I
they
think
just
Hillsboro's the only one that's got a
they
chamber,
disbanded.
unless Peabody does. So,
That I know.
you know, back in the day, there were 4 or 5 towns in this county that had chambers.
Well, I bought this Straub property a few years ago after it sat empty for 3 years. Within 2 years, I sold it back to basically 3 businesses, all contractors within our county. And they have utilized that property well. I mean, it was too big for one private entity, yet they went together. I think it's co-owned by 2 of them.
It's generated a lot of.
And at this point, as far as I know, there's still 30 or 40 employees that work for the 3 main companies that work out of there now. I miss having my little work shop, as I called it back then. As far as economics for City of Marion and our county and our contractors, I mean, Cody's general contractor even gets Davy Head and Nine Flemings and some of them bigger and better jobs to work on together, and has worked well the last several years. So, as much as I miss having that property, I think giving it up for the betterment of the community and county was the best thing I could do. You know, I had a silage pile.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that.
I think the biggest thing is just teamwork amongst everybody. We just all headed in the same direction at the same time.
I did put in quite a bit of effort with the county's Economic Development Committee about a year and a half before we got the rug pulled out from under us. Again, we were just starting to get some things in place. That went away. So. And there was a lot of in-house between the cities of who was paying for what, or who had the right to spend their money in a certain way. So I wish that would have continued a little longer, given us another couple of years to work through some of that. think that's what Ken said, we tried and it somewhat failed, I guess. I thought two or three things came out even in that short period of time, but the long term, you know, what we could have done in a 10-year period, never got experience, or never had the chance, or continued to have the chance to
We
do.
need to talk about the future, not the past.
Whether or not that can be resurrected again, I don't have a clue.
I didn't expect my topic to take the main event here, but
No, that's,
is there? I'm liking everything I'm hearing, but is there any other topics we need to be planning to take on?
generate more money somehow without raising taxes.
I
Spread,
think
spread the wealth around. Pain.
I've got another topic on that I need to do a little bit more is how it affects the counties, but on the AI development and enhancing your abilities without having to hire additional help.
I agree with Joy. We need to look at all the different new things that are happening and see if we want to participate in some of them. Because the world's changing quickly.
It's changing quickly, but you need to be real careful
Well,
about,
yeah.
you need to be real careful about AI.
Need to
It's
look
too,
at it.
it's too new.
I just, Amazon is looking at laying off 16,000 employees because of AI. You know, there was an article like half of the white collar jobs are in the country
That's what I said.
are looking at being eliminated because of AI.
Yeah, I think there's,
We, we're a small county. We're always going to be a small county. We've got to focus on what we can provide. All these things are great, but your comment, Kent, about focusing on what we do, let's do that first. Let's become as efficient and as good as we can become. That's where I think we should focus first. We've got opportunities to grow the county. I know in your district, Jonah, Gossel, they've in the last year they've added 5 or 6 new homes in the Gossel community. They're working really hard to promote Gossel as a bedroom community. They have virtually no business in that community. They're a small community. They're close to Newton. They're close to Hillsborough. So economically, it's not really feasible to expand that business base in Gossel right now. But as they're working to expand their housing and those opportunities, that will in turn lead to businesses wanting to locate into Gossel. You know, we can talk about trying to get business to come in here, but if they don't have the employees, they're not going to come. And if we don't focus on developing our communities and that workforce, the businesses are never going to come and they're never going to succeed. We need to start at the bottom And it's not gonna happen overnight, but if we don't focus on promoting Marion County as a quality place to live and promote the opportunities that we have, the businesses are never gonna come. And so I think personally, we need to focus on, number one, making the county as efficient and as effective as we can be. And then building on the opportunities that we have and growing from there. And we can talk about trying to bring businesses in all we want, but they're not gonna succeed if we don't have.
I need to work on, like Hillsborough housing project, you know, gets another group to come in and build 10 houses again.
I mean,
Well, by the end of this year, I think we should have 40 new addresses in Hillsborough.
40?
40.
That's great.
So, yeah, well, that's the partnership thing. Again, I keep going back to that's the incentives. That's and going back to my other AI point, I I understand the hesitation and everybody's little bit skeptical, but these AI layoffs are typically coming from bigger communities. So whereas we're kind of in the smaller end of scale, where we have to keep up with a lot of unfunded mandates and a lot of other things, and then we have to hire extra staff. We may be looking at it from a different approach, and instead of increasing the amount of tax dollars we need to keep up, we can maintain where we're at. So
and
that's my thoughts.
And I agree with you. And I think what you're saying, Jonah, is, and that comes back to evaluating our county operation and how can we utilize AI to make our county function as efficiently as we can without hiring a bunch of new people. I think, is that where you're coming from?
That's exactly where I'm coming from.
Okay, yeah, and that, I agree with that, and that's all part of evaluating our operations and how how can we incorporate AI to make our job, or our county employees' jobs easier without having to hire a bunch of new people. And partnerships, just like I said last week with the enterprise, I didn't realize that we were going into a maintenance agreement with enterprise for the rest of our fleet. But, and that's why I questioned it. But when I was told what that project actually was, we can't, for $3,600 a year, we can't hire somebody, and that's where you're coming from, and I agreed with that once I was told, what that actually was. And those are the things that we need to look at from a countywide, every department. How can we utilize what's out there to do our jobs better, more efficiently, and at a less cost to the county taxpayers?
Yeah, that touches on another note, the public education. Sometimes we get behind the ball, and I noticed a comment the other day about $1,000 per vehicle, and if I had the capability to get out in front of it ahead of time, I mean, I could see it, but I don't do a good job of explaining it ahead of time. The $1,000 per vehicle isn't like your typical lease. It is a lease equity payment. So you're going to wind up owning the vehicle at some point, and you retain the equity of that vehicle. So it's not just giving money away. And it's hard to explain that to some people. And once that cat's out of the bag, sometimes it's hard to draw it all back in and make them see the bigger thing, that it's actually retaining equity for the county.
Got another, need to young people develop a skill that they could stay in Marion County and, you know. It got 40 new addresses. I hope 10 of them will be young couples, not all retired people. And we need more VOTEC schools, more work with the local schools,
Well, I
kind
think,
of program
I
to,
think public schools need to offer more vocational training. I mean, we have VOTEC schools,
yeah.
but when a kid can start doing some vocational stuff when they're a sophomore,
Sophomore,
junior in high school,
We
they
need to
got
encourage
they
them.
got a foot up. So,
So I'm gonna take it back to that same partnership, rather than putting it off on the schools. What can we do? What can we do with the schools to help them achieve that goal?
Look for more grants, maybe, of some sort.
no, I think he's talking about
Yeah.
businesses partnering with schools that would take some apprenticeship type steps, if I'm right.
I'm talking about all of it. Neither one of you are wrong. I'm looking at this whole big picture in my mind. It takes all little bits, and if everybody joins the team, and
That's what
not that's your job or that's your job, and everybody gets on board, everything moves forward.
everybody works for the same end game.
And stop worrying about who gets what and this or that or whose job it is. If we all want this same goal, then we succeed.
So what does that look like, Jonah? Is that tax incentives to businesses that partner with the schools? I mean, to me, that's one avenue. We've got to incentivize the businesses we have to grow in Marion County. We lost Donahue Manufacturing in Durham. That was, I don't know how many people they employed.
Not many in the end,
Not many.
but at one
At
time,
one time, it was-
that was a
Major employer in
Yeah.
Marion County.
Probably close to 50.
probably at one time they had 50 employees.
We had
Two shifts.
Hillsborough Industries that moved their facility to Harvey County because I believe personally, I mean, I haven't talked to the gentleman, but I believe personally it's because of tax incentives that Harvey County probably offered them and the workforce that,
Bigger pool.
the bigger pool that they offered.
Labor recruitment. Labor recruitment was a big one.
And so at some point, we need to look at how we can incentivize the businesses that we currently have in Marion County to grow. When they start growing, that's when other businesses come to Marion County. And until you do that, you can talk economic development all you want, but until there's a visible benefit to coming to Marion County, it's not gonna work. And so I guess my question is how do we incentivize the businesses we have to grow in Marion County and to partner with the schools to develop their workforce, to partner with the cities to create housing? How do we do that? Is it tax incentives?
Lower the age restriction on the kids is to have a job. That wasn't there 30 years ago.
Well, that's something that's above our pay grade.
But I mean, that's the biggest part of having kids.
I agree with you, Mike. I agree with you 100%. But yeah, Clark's right. I think that's dictated by somebody else.
Above and beyond us, but that's our biggest hurdle, I think. Incentivizing kids to take different jobs and work their way up.
I think if you look at some of the industries around Marion County that have been highly successful, it's because they have people that stay with them. You look at Heston Corporation. I know lots of people that have worked for Heston for 30-some years. Some of them were farmers that needed another job. You know, some of them were, at one time, Heston didn't even worry about if you had a high school diploma. They were worried about, are you
willing to work?
willing to work? Are you gonna come to
Show
work
up
every
every
day? And are you gonna work for us long term? And that's been their success model. Now, of course, the company's been sold and things change, but for long term, that's a good example. And I think in a rural county, what gives you the leg up is normally you do get a certain percent of people that will become long-term employees. That's something they don't have in the urban areas. People are always moving around. So, you know, how do you sell I won't say a large corporation, but, you know, a small to medium-sized company that maybe does some manufacturing that needs 20, 25 people? Well, if you can sell them on, you can get 20 or 25 people in Marion County, they'll probably work for you until they retire. As long as you pay them decent and give them a benefit.
And that all comes back to creating an atmosphere in Marion County that people wanna come.
Right.
And people they come here because we are a rural county. They don't come here because we're
No.
an urban county. And until we create that atmosphere and those opportunities, like I say, we've got a lot of businesses here that could potentially grow.
Well, what's their number one driver in this county, and will always be? Ag. Okay? In the culture we have now, the farms and ranches are so large, you know, that they have to have access to their inputs, their equipment, their repair, and the closer you can get that to them, you know, I know a lot of guys that have to go out of the county, you know, for their repairs and stuff anymore because they're just so big. And you know, you look at even the input companies like the seed company. Tonight, in the last year, big seed company came in from where'd they come from? Like up at Salina, Otis. Built huge warehouse up there, and they probably got, I would say, at least 20, 25 employees. You know, the ag suppliers, you know, probably would like to be in a proximity where they can do the most amount of business. And I don't think this county will always, the number one driver is going to be ag. So, you know, how do we utilize that segment of our economy to grow it? You know, at one time, you know, when we had multiple, you know, everybody owned a quarter or 80 acres or whatever. How many equipment dealers were in Marion County at one time? About 7 or 8, probably.
Lincolnville had one,
Yeah,
lumberyard, creamery,
yeah, lumber, you know, all that.
hotel in Lincolnville.
So, you know, maybe
3 gas stations, 2 beer
maybe
joints.
looking back at the past a little bit to see what drove that. Of course, you know, we had more population, we had smaller farms, and when I was growing up, a lot of the farmers worked part-time or full-time job and farmed. Now they're so large that, you know,
Takes a family, the whole family.
you can farm several thousand acres with 2-3 people. Now, back in the day, you needed 10.
And we can't change that. That's not gonna change.
No.
It's
It's not gonna change back.
not gonna change back, but to your point, Kent, if we we have the workforce and and that demand is still there, and we provide the incentives, maybe we can get some of those companies to, you know, even if it's a satellite warehouse that they employ 3 people. Hey, that's 3 more people, that's 3 more jobs in Marion County than we had last week. We need to look at, again, I feel we need to start at the bottom. We need to develop opportunities for the workforce, incentivize the businesses we have to grow, and that will in turn, I think, bring more industry, more opportunities to the county.
We also need to promote Marion County as a safe place to raise your family. Because right now I got 2 girls, which we got 30 years in. And I got another half dozen with over 20. And I know I got at least 2 who started right out of high school because they didn't want to leave Marion County. And they found the job, and the husband found the job locally. So, you know, retention with young people. I had a couple retire with over 30 years.
In the end, it just takes a lot of money to do that. So, you know, we talk incentives, but before we can come up with an incentive, you gotta find out how to fund this
Incentive, you just need to, most people that work with me enjoy living in Marion County because of the kids and lifestyle. They go to Wichita once a week if they need to. I got one who made her husband drive to Wichita so she can stay and work here with the kids. Yeah. They were from out of town.
You know, just getting people to try to keep their tax dollars in Marion County is difficult because it's sure easy to go to Walmart and 2 or 3 different places or run to Wichita or whatever. And that's kind of become a lifestyle.
You know, support
Actually-
more events like Chingawassa Days and the Wheat Festival and stuff.
I'm seeing,
I was on the Chinga committee for 25 years, and they were keeping track. They think every year they had 1 or 2 families move back to Marion within a year after they'd been to the festival because they liked the city.
I had 2 guys from Lawrence on my dirt bike trail ride this
Yeah.
year that raced at Lawrence. They ended up buying a house there just so they could come back and ride around out in the Flint Hills. You know, you don't even think about things like that.
They buy groceries and gas. You know? It's either
Little things add
little
up.
things, yeah.
Little things add up, yeah.
It's hard to get 1,000 people to come to town for one day, but create a friendly lifestyle. Because we got all the schools in county keep winning awards for different things, so we got a good school system for the kids. Just some speech.
Kind of, is there anything else that we need to be thinking about? I mean, we're not gonna solve the world's problems today, but we need to, yes.
We can't throw money at it, we need to have some kind of plan, I mean.
Well,
Tax incentive.
Tina's got a whole.
I thought today was going to be topics trying to set forth for the rest of the year. So I didn't expect to solve this problem
No.
at all. I just expected to put it on the board that we
We have a list.
do our due diligence sometime.
Yeah, I think I have a few things.
I guess my question is, do we have enough topics? I mean, I
Yes.
think we've got more than enough to keep us busy all year long right now.
I think so.
Unless there's something else that somebody thinks is pressing that we need to address. I think, you know, your point, Kent, we need to start with the county first, because that's where we have the most control.
Yeah.
And the most responsibility.
You know, I think the departments do as good a good job as they can of trying to create efficiencies, but like anything else, we can all do better.
We can, yeah. So,
Just a
Said about-
Can
quick
you-
summary.
yeah, that's what I was just gonna,
Tina, could you, I mean, have you got some bullet points so that we can
Yeah,
retrace our steps a little bit?
so, I've got, yeah, I have a lot of points written down. So February, potentially road work planning. I do have capital planning and equipment, potentially surveying the vision of department heads and, any ideas or things that they have about looking outside the box. Policy work, including purchasing policy, also, what policies we have and what we need, and that we should try to really work hard on the policies within the next 4 to 6 months. I wrote down and underlined strategic planning, because a lot of these other things that you're coming up with fall under more of a, community development and enhancement, incentives to bring people, encouragement for building, for industry, small business, housing, partnerships and collaboration, working with business community, how to generate more money without raising taxes, AI, enhancing abilities without hiring additional help, efficient and effective promoting, focusing on housing, so that's on here twice now. Skill development for young people, low tech training, partnerships with schools, tax incentives to businesses that partner with schools as an idea, partnering with cities, housing incentives and services, supporting agriculture, celebrating and promoting events, and the last thing I wrote down was it's a friendly lifestyle. A lot of those things stem from your comprehensive plan.
and that's what I was gonna get to next.
So that is what that's a big deal on my list, and I'm gonna try to start getting you focused on that really, like maybe March, April timeframe.
I had hoped to have some work done on, working on that comprehensive plan, but other things have kept me busy the last month and a half. So that's another issue that we need to focus on, is the comprehensive plan and
Yeah.
redoing that.
Because I think that a lot of these things fall into
That comprehensive.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure that that underlying document reflects
right.
our vision for Marion County.
And that process of developing that will also help to narrow your focus on these tasks and these bullet points that you.
Pretty broad right now.
Yep. That makes sense, Jonah?
All makes sense. All makes sense. I'd be interested in going back and talking about my bullet point on finding surrounding industrial county leaders and seeing what gaps that they have in those areas and potentially what we could promote to fill those gaps.
Do we start that, Jonah, with conversations with adjoining county commissions? And
I think that's the first place to start. I mean, those are the connections we already have,
right,
and then they can put us in touch with those businesses and open the door a little bit so that the conversation can start.
and I think that's not only from that standpoint, but from general operations. We've got adjoining counties that are dealing with a lot of the same issues we are, and we need to be, I had a great conversation with Keith Becker last week after the Highway 56 enhancement project meeting that we had over in Canton. And I've visited with Harvey County Commissioners over the last couple months, and I think there's the willingness from our adjoining counties to kind of broaden our scope and see how we can work together as a regional, not just a county, but as a coordinated group of counties. So I think that's something that we need to look at. And how that works, I don't know, but I think we need to reach out to them and try to solve multiple issues together, and start those conversations. And like you say, they can point us to those industries that may look to expand into our county.
Yeah, and on top of that, it might be something that they're trying to do, but they can't pick up the full load, but maybe we could pick up that small little piece, and that helps them, that helps us. So.
Yeah. I don't want to say we want to pick up the scraps, but the scraps
Yeah.
can be big for Marion County.
Scraps can be jobs.
Yeah, scraps can make or break Marion County.
I'm in Vegas right now, and the only places I've won is by playing for scraps. Everywhere else, you just lose.
Anything else, or
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Next list.